Good evening, everybody. I hope you're having a great time. So, I want to do a bit of a retrospective on King Cobra and his relationship with Jessica, and things we could learn. I feel like when we look at people's relationship and we look at our own, we like to compare, and that's what I'm basically doing, right? But when we look at relationship, we ask ourselves, how did that person got into it? Now, normally we would ask a question or somebody would tell us how they got into it through just casual talk or just by just looking at their personal life, right? Whether they record their personal life a lot, like a lot of internet people do, or whether they post it, whether it be on X or whatever, right? People generally do show a bit of their own personal romantic side. What I mean by that is obviously relationships. But what we can learn from King Cobra and his mistakes is that, as guys and even girls, the need of having somebody there in our life is very much within our nature. People, or really just humans as a whole, really require that companionship more than they really require the lustfulness of it all. Now, obviously, what I'm implying is sexual needs, but I think like just needing somebody there in your life to talk to and just be there is very much important. But the problem with that sometimes as people is it's not even about trying to be an individual, right? Because even an individual, right? Like I met a lot of girls who are very much an individualistic, right? The whole power girl, power boss for guys, whatever, right? You meet these kind of like Andrew Tate kind of individual, you'd be really surprised how desperate they want that companionship, how desperate they need that person in their life that can fulfill that needs. It's a lot more common than you think, and a lot of people don't want to admit it. And I think King Cobra is a good example of that, right? The need of a companionship, but sometimes we pick the people that we think in the moment are good for us to have around, but then in reality they turn out to be completely awful. A lot of the time, it's mostly due to us just rushing into things. And I think King Cobra knew Jessica for some time, and I think what ended up happening was he rushed into that relationship so fast because, and he's admitted that he was going through a bit of a dry spell, like a 7 year long dry spell. Now people use that to attack him, and rightfully so, because a lot of guys do make some big mistakes with their relationships when it's coming to sexual needs. It's just a common fault in us, right? It's a sin. That's why lust is such a sin, especially that of the sexual nature of it, and it resulted in a lot of guys making some really dumb mistakes with girls. You meet a girl, you think she's really nice, she's everything you need, because in that moment you want companionship, but you want that sexual urge, and turns out it's the complete opposite. And I've been through it myself, where you meet a person like that, and there's a complete opposite, and you're so ignorant to the red flags of it that when you come out of it, it's like a clarity. It's post nut clarity, and from that, you realize your mistakes, and that's what we can learn from King Cobra. I think it's something that is shocking, but a lot more true. And we see with a lot of guys, and I think King Cobra has admitted that, like the mistakes he's made. Like, I know people will make fun of him for the rest of his life. I would say rightfully so. But at the same time, you can learn from it. You can learn what not to do, what the mistakes he made. You know, if you're looking for a partner, wait. Take your time learning about somebody. Sometimes their red flags are not obvious. And I think for someone like Jessica, who's already a nutcase, right? You don't realize it. I mean, hell, King Cobra fans knew that before he did. And I think it's because when you're looking things from the outside, you're not blinded by the romantic needs. But when you're inside of it, you're very much blinded because you don't know what you're looking at, right? It's like you look at a piece of a boulder, right? You look at a boulder up close, but somebody far away knows that's just a mountain of trouble, and that's usually what it is. You see a boulder, and it's like, I can move that. In reality, it's a mountain, and that's what we can learn. It's funny that we can learn a lot of our lessons from locales, and I think that's a separate need. That's a separate video all in itself. you know. So if anything, when we see people like this who have been in King Cobra situation, try to help them out of it, right? Don't let your need of companionship, which is a real thing, right? It is a very real thing. People want the companionship, and you're not alone. But wait, because if not, you're gonna turn like King. You're gonna turn like King Cobra, and you're gonna have a Jessica in your life. And trust me, you don't want that. I've been through that already once. It ain't a good time. But and I feel like the subject can go even deeper, and maybe one day I would like to do a redux version of this video and really get into it, right? But I think until then, I wanted to do a very simplified format of this, and we could learn a lot from locals, and we could learn about locals and their fault in romance. But I think he learned his lesson, and I think we learned our lesson. If you're in a dry spell, don't jump on the first girl. If the first girl comes in and gives you what you want, don't jump into it. Until then, yo, I hope you guys have a good one and be safe. Bye now.